guys, this is Break Visit on TTV Network. You will remember from last week's episode that this season is for startup founders. Today, we are awesomely excited to have two great founders who have recorded double success from Jumia and of course now SupermartNG. We are highly honored to have them here in the studio with us, and we believe that you will be greatly inspired to listen to them. So stay tuned and join me to welcome Mr. Raphael Afaedor and Gholahan to the show.
I'm very sure that your story is going to inspire a lot of young people out there. So I'll start with Raphael. Just give us a brief background of yourself.
Okay. So as we discussed earlier, I am originally from Ghana, and I did study computer science and electrical engineering in university. But I loved the business aspect of it, so I did focus more on the business aspect of it. But at a certain point, I felt like I was reaching the point in my career where I could make impact doing something else, building. So I went to business school for 2 years to get the right business education. Then I moved to Nigeria because I found it a phenomenal place, almost like a hotbed for entrepreneurship and building the kind of stuff that I'm interested in building. And I joined the company, got to learn the country, got to learn doing business in Nigeria. Started my first company, which then later on morphed into Jumia as the second company. And then now we joined ranks with my colleague Gholahan to start Supermart, which is a grocery delivery service, delivering groceries across Lagos in 3 hours.
Wow, quite interesting. Okay, let's get from hear from Gholahan before I get back to you on Nigeria, coming to Nigeria. All right, Gholahan.
Okay, so my background is I studied business at university, both at undergraduate and postgraduate level.
Okay.
I then worked in banking as well as in consulting for a few years before I started various business ventures. I've done businesses in consulting, I've done businesses in road repair, and then I was also the founding chief operating officer at Jumia before we then launched Supermart recently.
Did you school in Lagos?
Well, secondary school was in Lagos, but my university was in England.
Okay, all right. Okay, you talk about coming to Nigeria. What was the attraction?
Like I said, before going to business school, I had reached a point where I felt like I could do actually more with the opportunity I had been presented. I had been taking care of my parents, I had been sent to decent schools, I got a decent education. And I was working, but I just felt like there was something I could do more with the kind of experience I'd had and the exposure that I had. So I was looking for that place. So I traveled back to Ghana, across the sub-Saharan African continent. And then in business school, I met a Nigerian who told me that we need people like you back at home. And I said, okay, fine, if you pay for my flight ticket, I'll come and check it out. He paid for my flight ticket, and I just landed, and I told him, okay, if you want me, you give me a job and I'll take it. And so he gave me a job, I took it, and I moved to Nigeria.
Yeah, where was that, and what company?
It was late 2009, so literally 2010, and the company was Notori Chemical Industries, where we produce fertilizer. So I spent the next 16 months actually traveling across the whole of Nigeria, working with subsistence farmers, like teaching them how to plant with fertilizer, pricing fertilizer, selling it in the markets in Kano, Katina, and all these places. It was a very exciting time of my life, and I learned a lot of lessons that I later on applied both in Jumia and in Supermart.
Wow. But you studied computer engineering and
electrical and computer science.
Your role in Notori Chemical seems like a business management role.
Yes.
Okay, because you went to business school?
Exactly.
Alright, so which business school was that?
I went to Harvard Business School.
Wow. Alright, when I told you that today is a very exciting day, I wasn't just joking. So we are hosting Harvard students today, so just stay tuned and you continue to see more surprises. We've had Gholahan who have schooled in England, and of course Raphael who have been to Harvard. Alright, so you were working in Notori Chemicals, and how did the Jumia journey all start?
So I worked in Notori for about 16 months before deciding to leave Notori to start a startup, which was exactly in the e-commerce space. It was group buying, group discount, and group buying. And the reason why was that when I looked around, I saw a retail landscape that was not very organized. We had flagship or big retailers but not reaching the masses. And I thought the internet could actually be that medium that the masses are able to get access to formalized retail. What formalized retail gives people is lower prices, over time availability of the product and also good quality product and also stuff like after sales service. But how to get started? I couldn't get started without the funds, etc. So I started this group buying business where the merchant discounted the product and the customer got a discounted product. The belief there was that then I wouldn't need much marketing money because the two were just naturally drawn to each other. But then the goal there was to be able to use it to test e-commerce here and then from there move on to something like what we did with Jumia.
Oh, right. That's exciting. Okay, hold on. You were working in Lagos as a consultant, like you said. How did you meet these guys?
I used to run a monthly speaker series where we invite leading entrepreneurs and business people to come talk about their experiences. So I felt that I had attended one of those sessions I organized, but that was one of the sessions where I was out of town, so we didn't actually meet. But then a few months later, a mutual friend invited us both to speak at a career development session. And we met there and we spoke. But we didn't see each other for maybe the next 9 months. Maybe we'd hear about what I was doing, I would hear about what he was doing. And then when Rocket Internet, the company which was the initial investor in Jumia, came to Nigeria, they were looking for people who they thought could run the business professionally. They had approached Raphael. I think Raphael then was probably employee number 1. And I was employee number 2. So I think when we went to go meet the guys at the hotel in Ikoyi to discuss about the business and see how we could get this thing off the ground, I met Raphael. Then I said, I know this guy. So we started talking, and very soon we were both in the same company. Since then, I haven't looked back.
Wow, that's
a partnership made in heaven.
Honestly, I can only say that you guys sitting down behind the scene, you guys were just cracking up, laughing. As in, I like the mutual chemistry going on. As in, it's really seamless, and I see that if bosses could unite like this, it means great potentials for employees too. But how did you get the connection to Rocket Internet?
So I think so Rocket Internet had established firms similar to Jumia across various countries in the world, Middle East and Southeast Asia, and this was the first venture they were exploring in sub-Saharan Africa. So like I said, when they had some amount of money to invest in the business, and they were looking for professionals who could run the business and scale the business. So with this kind of things, it's I won't say it's a small talent pool, but then when you're looking for the good professionals to find, it's not too difficult to find the connection that will get you to those kind of people. So like I said, they initially approached Raphael, and he was on board. Shortly after, they approached me, and then they approached Tunde as well. And we decided to scale the company and find other people across various segments of the organization.
Wow, that was very great, and I think they made a very good choice because you guys have run Jumia very well. Jumia has become a brand that we cannot do without. We are just stick to it. Especially people like me, we are just stick to Jumia. We want to buy shoes, we want to find stuff, and I think I even made a purchase yesterday or something. Alright, so what inspires SupermartNG?
As with these things, you're always having discussions about what you're doing now, what you could do in the future. And when you're in that line of business, you would always know about various opportunities that you think you can take advantage of. And Raphael and I were quite close in Jumia, so we always kept on discussing both e-commerce in general and of course retail, which is what we were doing in more broader terms. And we thought to ourselves, groceries is something that we think we would like to do at some point. We discussed it over a few months, ran the numbers, talked to people who were working in the industry, and after a while we saw that this was a place that we thought had significant potential. Because if you think about people who are busy professionals, most people work from as 7 a.m. till as late as 9 p.m. sometimes spend as much as 4 hours in traffic every day. When we're discussing it, like you said, grocery shopping is something that is a huge pain for you. So we thought about those kind of people who, no matter their income level, no matter what economic situation the country is in or political situation, they will always eat, they will always buy washing powder, they will always buy the things their kids need for schools. And we say this is a huge market, and we think this is a place where we can deliver a quality service that will save people time, save them stress, and give them convenience. And now with SupermartNG, what we've done is we've got leading retailers in almost every in the key sectors. So we have Park and Shop and Spa for groceries and everyday essentials. We have MedPlus for your pharmacy and health items. We have Office Arrows for stationery. We have Latena for books. And Latena is the biggest supplier of books in Nigeria. Yeah. And so what customers can do is that they can go on the websites, order things from these various stores, add them to their baskets, pay at once, and then we then go to the various stores, pick the items, and we can deliver to them as early as 3 hours across Lagos. Wow. So that 3-hour delivery is unprecedented in Nigeria. Nobody else whether an online store or a physical store can
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
almost 24 hours.
Yeah, so we can do it in 3 hours. And even more importantly, we give the customer choice to choose their preferred delivery time. So if you order with us now, we can deliver within 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 7 days a week. Public holiday, Sunday. So for example, now we're working right through Ramadan, Monday, Tuesday. It's a public holiday for many, but we'll be working all through.
Sorry.
Because for us, we put the customer at the heart of what we do. So it's always what's convenient for the customer and not what's convenient for us, which is our underlying belief of how any kind of retail or service business should be run.
Okay, sorry, I think you guys need to work because I need my leaves on Saturday. I need them on holidays. In fact, that's when I have time to sit down and do the shopping. So, no thanks. Anyway, I'll say thanks for that. We'll get back to that. Okay, Raphael, how long did it take for you guys to kickstart Supermart from when the initial idea came up?
I think we went through an evolutionary process of just thinking through the idea, what's the best way of doing this, what's the best way of doing that. As we go through the process, we started thinking of maybe we reached a point where we actually can now focus fully on it. From the time we focused fully on it, we got the initial team that just created the content to put on the site. So, and then from that point on, on the supply side, we got put the content on the site, and then we went live with it. To put timelines to it, it's difficult to put timelines to it because you go through the ideation stage where you're drawing the process on a sheet of paper saying, we deliver in 2 hours, we deliver in 3 hours, 4 hours, we do half a day, we do this, we do that, and all of that. But I think we got a team together sometime in February, and then we're live with the product selling in April. By selling to friends and family only, to be able to properly test out the systems. And then in May, we rolled it out to the entire general public. So I think 8 weeks to get the site live, and then 4 weeks of testing with friends and family, and then after that we went out to the general public. Wow. But before then, it was a lot of paperwork. It's phone time spent on the phone, how do we structure this, how do we structure that, etc. Studying models that had applied elsewhere in the world, and then get it started.
Wow. Quite good. Okay, how the pricing now? How is the pricing like? If I'm going to have all this convenience delivered to me, is it the same thing I would have got at Pack and Shop, or if there's something added, what's the percentage?
So that's the beautiful thing. We don't charge you any extra. We get on Supermart exactly the same prices you would have gotten in store.
Wow!
So if you go to Pack and Shop, you get exactly the same price that you get. What we do charge is a delivery fee of 800 naira.
You would have paid transport to that place.
Exactly. Now, if you think about it, people spend up to 6 hours a week stuck in traffic. Now, assuming, let me use a number that will make it easy for us. Let's say assuming the person earns 160 for the year, for the month. That means that 6 hours actually equals 6,000 naira.
Of course.
Okay,
before
exactly. We're giving it to you for 800 naira.
Wow. That's very good. The part I like most is you delivering that day, because sometimes the Jumia and I think Jumia did 24 hours then, so I have to if I needed to use that in this evening, I would Jumia can deliver today. So if Supermart is coming with the 3 hours thing, is the biggest thing for me here, and the price I don't have to add anything, because I know there was one other startup that you have to pay, then you pay 10% of whatever you buy, which was some people want to say, I don't have this to pay. So that's really good, because parking your car, coming out, sometimes you park behind somebody, you're going to be called to come and repark while you're still shopping, and wow, it's incredible. Okay, how many staff do you have on Supermart?
Today we have about 20 people. Spread across the shopping organization, people picking in the shops, delivering, and also the people in the office doing the content that is on the site, the online marketing to get people to come to the site, business intelligence, customer service, and of course the delivery.
Okay. Alright, so who built your systems for you?
So we built our systems ourselves because we first tried to see if we could find something off the shelf. We couldn't. This is where the innovation actually comes in. People talk all the time about how much innovation is going on in the Nigerian technology ecosystem. This is where the innovation comes. The innovation is actually taking an idea that has existed somewhere, but being able to localize the idea. Being able to deliver groceries across Lagos in 3 hours means you have to spend a lot of time thinking about where does traffic build up, where does traffic not build, when is it free, where do you pick the items, how do you deliver, etc. So, people to get a system that's able to deliver something like this, you have to end up building it yourself.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you guys have developers in-house?
Yes.
That does all the...
Yes.
The people working for you, how do you get your staffs?
So that's always like, so the kind of person that actually is able to run a business like ours is smart, is very hard working. The hours are long. We come in very early. We work till very late. Is dedicated, but what the person gets in return is really an education of in how to make things happen. Even in spite of all the challenges, whether electricity is on or not, we have to make things happen. We have to deliver to customers, whether the network is working well or not. So we recruit people from the local universities, and we spend a lot of time training them. They have to come very smart, like willing to be able to like do this. What is I don't know, maybe 100 divided by 0.4. You should be able to like spit it out of your mind very quickly. Or you can use a sheet of paper, do some mental math, come up with it. But more importantly, you have to come in willing to put in the efforts and be open to learning. We have a curriculum in-house where we train ourselves on the hard skills, so Excel training, PowerPoint presentations, etc. All of that is trained in-house, be able to upskill the people, but we recruit locally.
Okay. All right. But now, like, if you guys are going to recruit people, irrespective of, we are going to train this person, what's that one skill that you'll be looking out for that the person must already have?
I think the one skill we look out for is, can this person do my job 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? So you want to look at somebody and say, is this person a leader? Okay. Can this person take initiative? Similar things to what Raphael said. If I wasn't in the office for 3 days, am I comfortable that this person can run the business? Okay. Or at least run the departments in which they've been hired into? So if, for example, you have somebody who is working on the content on the website, for example, and for some reason you have a mismatch between the content image and the content price, are you comfortable that person will find a solution and get it fixed immediately in the same speed that you would have done it? If you have, an accountant and suppliers are calling you and saying, look, we have an issue with this transaction, are you confident that person can resolve it without needing your help? So it's those kind of people. Even when we recruit drivers, for many drivers that we recruit, people who deliver for us, we probably turn down as much as 50 drivers just to hire one person. That's because of the quality of person we're looking for, because that person is the face of our business. Okay. In an online store, you don't see myself, you don't see Raphael, you don't see the accountant, you don't see the HR manager, you don't see anybody. The only person you see is the person who brings that delivery to your door. So one here, that person has to be well dressed, he has to be well spoken, speak good English, he has to be able to communicate with the customer in a manner in which they are comfortable with. So in terms of for the kind of person or the people we look for, we just want to say, look, yes, this person may not be 5-star now, but can he be a leader 1 year from now? Okay. Is this someone that we think we can work with, that we can train to be someone who will be exceptional?
Okay.
So you have to have that basic foundation to be willing to put that effort in and to have that initiative and proactivity.
I think that driver position should be somebody that is very delicate, because they are the face we know. And I think sometimes you want to pay on delivery, they are the one that will practically do the ATM stuff on the POS. So, like your kind of drivers, do you have any graduate driver?
I think we probably have one or two. But for us, more important than whether he has a university certificate is, can that person do what we want him to do? And almost, I'll probably say 95% of our drivers, they receive a positive response every single time. So every time we deliver another, so if they deliver to a friend of ours or a family member of ours, time after time after time, people are saying, wow, I was happy with the delivery I got because of the way the driver handles the situation. Wow. So you see that person now turns from just somebody who is driving a car to a customer service personnel, because he or she is handling every single thing that could go wrong. So there's traffic, does he find a different way out of traffic? The customer gets there and the customer says, okay, look, I'm not in the office. He finds a solution to how he can get the customers order to them on a timely basis.
Wow. I think that's really very great, because I remember once when I bought something from Jumia, I was quite busy in the office, so the guy delivered, and when he delivered, I was like, how much is it? He was like, okay, it's 4,000. So I was just calculating the money very fast. I gave him 6,000 naira instead of 4, and I rushed into the meeting room. So the guy keep asking our receptionist to call me back, that he wants to say something. I was like, for God's sake, this Jumia guy, I've collected my stuff, can you just go? So when I got, he was like, madam, sorry, I think you left 2,000 naira. He gave me 6,000. Wow. I was so astonished. I just went on Facebook ranting. So I think it's a very delicate role. But do you take trainees, like fresh graduates, or do they have to be a professional to some extent?
No, so yeah, we have several people who are fresh graduates. In fact, over the next 3 weeks, we have a call of about 3 or 4 people who are going on NYSC, but they'll be coming back to join us after the 3-week orientation program. For us, like I said, for us it is less about whether you have a degree or you have a master's in e-commerce or you've gone to the School of Customer Service. The fundamental question is, who are you? What can you do? And what do we hope you can do X months from now, X years from now? So we don't color our judgment by placing artificial tags on people.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what the background is.
Okay.
So even if you haven't gone to university, the question is, what have you done in the last 6 years? What have you done in the last 1 year? Even if you've gone to you just finished secondary school, but you have shown that over the last secondary school 6-7 years ago, you have been working in professional organizations and you gain significant experience. And you can come to an interview and demonstrate how that experience is relevant to Supermart, then by all means, we're happy to consider that person.
Wow, that's very good. It's really very good because, Nigeria have become, at some point, the organization will even say, oh, the person must have had 4 A's in his SSC. And I usually say, I'm not sure those things are related. But I've worked with people that have first class. I've worked with people that were even maybe like a 2-2. But I find that it doesn't just come into play at all when it comes to work, training, and everything getting things done. So if you could think like that as a leader, anyway, no wonder Jumia and Supermarket keeps growing. Okay, so if you were Raphael, if you were doing recruitment, where do you put up the announcement? Do you just ask your staff to recommend people, or do you put them online paper? How do you do it? About it?
So we use digital a lot. We use places like Jobberman, we use OLX, we use a lot of these like forums. I think NBF, Nairaland. We just use a lot of digital channels. The truth of the matter is, Gholahan touched on it. We need to see a lot of people to be able to get that to one person. Wow. It's like looking for diamonds in the rough. There are a lot of people who are looking for jobs, but we recruit for attitude. It's very important because, being smart, etc. matter, but really, what is this person going to be like when you're not there on Saturday, when you're not there on Sunday? And we work every single day of the week. You know what I'm saying? You can't be this. You're looking for people, and it takes a lot of effort to be able to find the type of person. So we use these digital channels, but we just try to get a lot of people in. We have a structure in place. They come, they write the examination and the assessment. And it's called. They write the assessment. It's marked. And then somebody interviews them from the team who's been trained on how to interview people. And then after that, the people who've passed through get to see Gholahan and myself. And both of us, depending on the role, will see a person, or one of us will see the person to work with the person. So assessment, the interview, the second interview, and then we'll make a decision from there.
Wow. Okay, how many hours do you guys work per day? Because I see that you guys are delivering section by section. I'm very late.
No, so we insist that nobody works more than 5 days a week. Every now and then you find yourself maybe writing a quick report from home, etc. But coming to the office, everybody comes to the office 5 days a week. Even the drivers don't work more than 5 days a week. Because at the end of the day, the body needs time to rest. And so we insist that discipline is there. People spend time with their families, etc. My working hours, we come in very early. We start at 8:30, and we'll be there maybe 6:30, 7:30, sometimes 8, etc. But it depends really on the person and the workload that the person has at that point in time. To be perfectly honest, though, I've gone into the office at 7:30 and seen people. I've gone to the office at 7 o'clock and seen people there.
Okay, so it's not like you were telling the person you can't close until 7, but the person just realized that, I have this to do.
Exactly. And we're driven, we have a fundamental belief in what we're doing. We really want to make Lagos a better place to live. And we know that people are spending 6 hours every day, every week, doing their grocery shopping. And this is 6 hours they can spend with their husbands or wives, 6 hours they can spend with their children, 6 hours they can spend lying in bed, reading a book or having a massage somewhere. If we are able to build what we're building, that makes Lagos a better place for everybody. And the team is fueled by that belief, which again means that they get up involved and push very hard to be able to create something that we all can look back and be proud of.
Good. Okay, I think after this interview, a lot of people want to work with Supermart. the work structure is really very good from what I'm hearing, from the recruitment process to this to that. I mean, it's quite. I mean, just give you my CV.
Who will run the program?
I may just drop my CV soon. Okay, like I see a lot of job here. Do you like doing this for Supermart? Do you still have things to do on Jumia? You still work on Jumia too?
No.
Okay, you don't, not at all. Okay. What's your day like? A day in your life like?
I mean, it varies. Some days I'm in the office the entire from morning to evening. Some days, we have meetings, and those meetings could be with suppliers or some of our store partners like Shop Plus. Some days we're meeting various people, various strategic partners in the business. But it varies. Some days, we'll have 2-3 hours of interviews. Other days we're free to just do the work that we need to do in the office. But pretty much there's no typical day for us. I mean, today, 2 days ago, we know we were coming for this interview. But here we are. So it's fluid. It's fluid.
I was. It to be very honestly. I would not really. Even though I would have loved to be in your shoes, but I'm really very scared to be there because I manage a very small group of people, and I know how tedious it is. Then you have to be looking partners, this, that. I mean, it's really epic. But you guys are good. All right. So how do you relax?
That's a good one. I'm not sure there is. I think to be frank, I think this is a lesson for anybody who wants to start a business.
Okay.
When you are in this phase of building a business and this phase of growth, there isn't much time to relax. Yes, now and again, meet up with friends for drinks. Maybe if you go swimming, you do something. You do that. You go for exercise if you're that inclined. But I think even when you are not physically in the office, many times your mind is thinking about something. You're driving through traffic. We are thinking, okay, look, what next we're doing a delivery in this area? What is the kind of traffic the driver goes through? So in terms of relaxation, most times when I get home, I spend maybe about an hour, maybe catch up on the news, eat something, go to bed, and the next day I'm at it again. Weekends, sometimes maybe I visit family and friends, but the majority of the time, my mind is still working, even when my body thinks it's resting.
Your mind is still, I understand that part. Yeah. You will just be thinking about this. So at the end of the day, you're not actually resting. So you're still thinking of work, you're still thinking of office, but you don't have any, when was the last time you actually traveled out for an holiday?
Well, probably November last year.
Okay.
Over this period, my wife and I will take a short break to IIT in Ibadan.
Okay. In Ibadan?
Yes.
I thought you said New York or something.
I think that's another thing that's grossly underestimated in Nigeria. There's a lot of lovely places to visit in Nigeria. We're talking about this just yesterday.
In Ibadan?
Yes.
Where would that be?
IIT, I think it's called the International Institute for Tropical Research in Agriculture.
Wow. Is it one very beautiful place?
We'll find out tomorrow.
I've been to Ibadan. Sorry to people living in Ibadan. I really enjoyed the place to stop with traffic, and the only place I went to was Ibadan Stadium to watch children play football or something.
Well, there are many fantastic places to see across the country, whether it's somewhere like Abraka, there's an Ekpe Resort, there's a Kogosi, Warm Springs, there are nice places in Benin, there are lovely places in the north as well. So I think as long as you are open to new experiences, there are tons of things to do in Nigeria. I think Nigeria is grossly underestimated for its tourism value.
Yeah, we have lovely places. So, Raphael, I hope you don't run to Ghana to go have holidays.
No, actually not. I do. We talk about regimes and how people spend their day. I spend a lot of my time. I like greenness, right? I like trees, etc. So if I need to find a place to rest a bit, I look for a place where, for example, there is the Monkey Resort down the Aja Expressway. I don't know.
Monkey Resort.
Yeah.
Lucky Conservation
Center.
Center.
Exactly, the Conservation Center. And there's the Ekpe Resort. There's also Freedom Park in Lagos Island. It's a very good place to just go sit and read a book and just clear your head. But I think there's a lot that one can find if one looks hard enough, and so one doesn't have to go all the time to the New Yorks and the Londons of the world, because oftentimes when you even end up going there, you come back more tired and more stressed than when you left. So.
Wow, I think it's cool. So when was the last time you took a full holiday? You go on leave, so to say.
I do enjoy what I do. I really do enjoy. I really do
Well,
enjoy what I do. So, I think I recently went on a trip. It was a 14-hour journey, but to be perfectly honest with you, I worked the entire journey. luckily, I could connect my computer on the plane, so I could work. So I think the dissociation between the travel and the relaxation is what I'm trying to get at. I relax perfectly well in Lagos. When I get to Freedom Park, I'm relaxing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like there's music there.
Yeah.
I can sit somewhere, there's air, fresh air. I can bring, read a book, etc. My point is, I don't have to travel to have a holiday. I can get a holiday so long as I switch off and just get a holiday.
If I were your PA, one day when you're traveling, maybe for holiday, I'll make sure I remove your laptops, everything, and just pretend I forgot.
But what's not just about the laptop? So even when you travel, so if you go to a new city, whether it's somewhere in Africa or somewhere in Asia or whatever, and you run a business that you think you can live, you want to now say, look, I'm in a different town.
Okay.
Let me see how things are being done here. So, for example, we're in a retail business.
Okay.
If you go to Paris, for example, you go to Shanghai or Hong Kong, you want to say, okay, look, how are they running similar businesses here? So, we partner with Pack and Shop and MedPlus here. If you're in those cities, you should say, let me go visit the equivalent of MedPlus, the equivalent of Pack and Shop in those cities. If you happen to have a contact there who does e-commerce, before you travel, you find a guy online, say, look, can we arrange a 30-minute meeting, we go for coffee, and we tend to do that often. So we go to a new city, and we want to meet people who are doing the business we do. So, yes, you may be away for 10 days or whatever it is, but then...
You're still working.
I won't say you're still working, you're still trying to learn and leverage off the way things are done differently in those countries. So if out of a 24-hour day when I'm supposed to be resting, I spend 30 minutes or 1 hour with the CEO of the company, the guy who's doing the equivalent of Supermart in Cape Town, for example,
Okay.
I'd like to talk to him. I still have 23 hours to rest as I deem fit.
Okay.
But it means that trip has been double productive. I have done some work, but I've also rested.
Okay. Anyway, after all the startup founders I've interviewed, you could see I spend so much time at that restaurant, holiday place, because they seem not to be resting. They seem to always be working on the go. I don't know if maybe because the business are still early, if maybe after 10 years, there will be a time you will never have to worry about anything, believing that.
I think we have to find a way to find that balance between work and life.
Okay.
But I just think that we don't necessarily have to separate the two. Especially if you find something that you enjoy doing. Then for example, I can take a business meeting on the weekends, but when I take a business meeting on the weekends, I will insist that the person comes with their partner so that I still can spend time with my family.
Okay.
So my wife and I can come for the meeting, the person's wife gets to know my wife and I can talk with him. Or we can have a business meeting over drinks, we touch on what we need to touch on, but at least I'm spending time with my family. So I think it's important that one thinks constantly about how to find that balance. Rest, time for family, everything else. But there's so much work to be done that it's difficult to switch one off and say, okay, fine, I'm not going to.
Okay.
I watch football, for example.
Oh, are you a fan?
No, I watch football to learn about the strategy they use in the game because I realize the strategy they use in the game can be used to run a business too.
Wow. I'm just hearing that for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, is it like from the management end or from the way they play?
Everything from the management and the fact that the way they change course when they meet a different scenario that they plan for.
Okay.
The way they manage the people, how do you manage superstars versus or other employees in the team. How do you manage your board, your bonus, PR, everything. It's
So
a lot.
Are you a football fan, like, seriously?
Yes, I am.
What's your club?
I think there's only one club that everybody has to support. Anybody who likes good things has to support Manchester United.
Hey, that's my club too. I thought you were going to say Chelsea.
No,
I would have just said, "Oh, you black guys, just go." So, are you also a sports fan?
I watch football. I won't say I'm crazy about it.
A fan like that.
Yeah, I watch football.
But if you were watching clubs football, who will you support?
I'll be neutral. Actually, I mean,
somebody needs to convert this guy.
I'm working at it.
Over the course of a year,
Okay.
I'll probably maybe watch maybe 3 or 4 matches in full. So I think over the World Cup, I only saw 3 matches in full.
Are you serious?
Yes.
The Nigerian ones.
I saw one Nigerian match in full. I saw the epic Brazil, Germany match.
You watched
I saw the final. Yes.
It's really paining me. I didn't watch that match. I was driving through, so I just came back to see five scores. I was like, what's this? It was quite interesting. So, all right, it's been a nice time having you guys around. Okay, do you have anybody you guys look up to? Do you have anybody you look up to?
Anytime I'm asked that question, my answer is there's not one person for me. So for me, I never try to look at life in prison. So okay, look, this is one person that has done this. In our line of work and in our lives, we've come across all kinds of people doing all sorts of things, whether they're people in business, people in the arts, people who are just what you call regular folk. And every single time, people inspire, at least they inspire me in different ways. So it's not, I'm going to call a big name that you would say that's one person who has shaped the way I think. For me, I meet all kinds of people. It could be that I could walk past somebody and see someone selling a car, and there's something the guy does. And I just think that's good stuff. When I was out after work yesterday, I met up with some friends for drinks. The lady who came to serve us, I asked if I could get a discount, and she said no. When is my birthday? Come back. And I said, when's your birthday? She said, it's past already, May 25th, I think she said. And I said, fine, we'll come back next year, May 25th. And I said, I don't plan to be here next year, May 25th. I plan to have a better job. And I turned to my friend and I said, that's kind of what you're like. I didn't plan on leaving a tip, but before I left 1,000 naira. Just because, for me, that one statement alone just gave me, it almost made me slightly emotional, because you can see somebody who has her future plan, and says, look, I'm doing this job, and I'm doing it perfectly professionally. She wasn't, grouchy or anything. Perfect quality service, smiling and very helpful. But she said, look, I plan to be somewhere better than this, a year from now, and I like that. Yeah. Those are the kind of people that, for me, inspire me.
Wow. So, Raphael, do you have?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Gholahan's take on this. I do have all sorts of places I reach out to for inspiration, but it's really just everyday people, and I see bits and pieces in people that I could emulate to become better, And I do have books that I've read, and so my books are always annotated, because I have places in the book that I go to for various sorts of inspiration at various points in time, and I think that really is, because at the end of the day, the challenge that we have ahead of us is a 21st century sub-Saharan Africa that we need to fix and make it reach its true potential. Nobody has done that before. We've had, we have had African leaders, we have African generations ahead of us that we can look up to, who will lead to independence, etc. But their challenge was different from our challenge. We can learn a lot from them. There are people in the West that we can learn from, there are business leaders that we can learn from. We put all of those together to form a personal opinion, personal take on it, and then we go out and execute and try to make our continent better.
Wow, I think that's good. But you talk about books. Who is your best author of all time?
That's a difficult one. I don't think I have one. I definitely have books that I read and that I keep with me, because they really, inspire me in different ways. But I can't reach out to one person and say that one person is the best author. Okay. So how often do you read? Go online? I try to discipline myself to read a book. To read once a week. Try Saturdays to read. It's been difficult because again we're just lifting the company from the bottom up now, so it's a bit more difficult now. But with discipline, I try to block a bit of time over the weekend to read. That's it.
Wow. Okay, but now, where do you see SupermartNG in the next, let's say, 4 years?
I would like in 4 years. I would like, and I expect that in 4 years we will be a leading service provider in Lagos. Bringing convenience to many parts of people across major cities in Nigeria. I think, like we said, the core of our service, the core of our existence is to alleviate that stress of shopping. So we don't want you spending the 6 hours Raphael spoke about driving from supermarket A to supermarket B, back to supermarket C. And we just want to say, look, sit down at home, sit down in the office, pick whatever it is you want to buy from as many stores as we have on offer. We'll deliver that to you as early as 3 hours. And I'm sure by the time it's 4 years, that'll be down to minutes and not hours. And I think more importantly, we would like to be a brand that people adore and people love. Because it's one thing to be a company, it's another thing to be a brand that people associate with. And so you want to be that brand that people say, okay, look, these guys stand for something. It's quality service, quality people, and they say what they do, how they say they will do it, when they say they will do it. And that they are held in very, very high regard in any community in which they operate. So I think that's where I'd like us to be for this.
Okay. Right now, Superman is only in Lagos, so no delivery anywhere in Nigeria apart from Lagos. Any plans to take it to other cities?
Sure, I mean, so yes, we're ambitious. We would like to take it further afield.
Okay.
But I think Lagos is a big market as it is. 22 million people who we need to bring on board to start using the service that we have. We have to provide good coverage across Lagos to cover that. We deliver across Lagos. We just want to make sure that it's done perfectly for everybody, and then we add more and more supermarkets so you can just about anything and everything that you want to buy in terms of groceries and everyday essentials. And that's a task that takes time. Okay, building the people that will deliver, teaching them, training them, etc. Once we're done with that, we'll ask ourselves what next. I would jump ahead of ourselves to start putting timelines to it, because there's a lot of work to be done before we get to engage that question. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Oh, so much. It's been a very long interview, isn't it? Alright, you guys, I hope you've been enjoying Gholahan and Raphael interview. Right now, if you're in Lagos, you're a very lucky person, because you don't need to jump traffic, you don't need to drive, all sort of stress to go to those supermarkets you like. All you just need to do is just to go to, now you could just go to SupermartNG.com. Start enjoying your life. Alright, bye.